Thank you for your patience as we just gather ourselves this morning. So I'm just going to give a little welcome. So hello, everybody. Welcome to the 4th Annual QTRG Conference. We're here. Yay! My name is Susan. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm one of the organisers, along with Casey, who's up the back, Emma, who's here, Kate, who's online, and Kaysen, who is also online at the moment. And I think both Kate and Kaysen will be joining us in person over the next 3 days. It's fantastic to have you all here, both in person and online. Thank you so much for supporting our vision and coming and sharing your work with us. I want to start by acknowledging country. We're privileged to be holding this year's conference on the lands of the Wadawurrung people of the Darug Nation. Their culture and traditions have nurtured country since time immemorial, and we pay our respects to elders past and present and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today. Part of our values around acknowledging country is to learn more about country and the culture and traditions that nurture country and community. We've compiled some excerpts about Darug country that you can find in the Acknowledgement of Country Slack channel. And we invite you all to pay respect to, learn about and share things you love about the country that you're on today as well, or the country you live on if it's not Darug country. We've also put a little flyer in your tote bag, which is also on the Slack. So if you want to know about more about Darug country, language traditions, and also there's a walking country app, which is fantastic. You can walk around campus and see like landscape features and important cultural features, which is incredible. So check all that out. As always, we will be using Slack throughout the conference to help keep us organised and to help bridge the gap between online and in-person attendance. Online attendance and keeping the conference hybrid is really important to us. It's part of our accessibility and disability politics. So yeah, please make your online friends feel welcome, and online people, please get involved with the activities. We want to make you feel as welcome and involved as we can. One of the ways that we do this is by taking all the questions for the presentations in Slack. So even if you're sitting in the room, we're going to ask you to type your questions into Slack and they will be read out by the moderator. And this way it bridges the gap between the online and the in-person experience a little bit more. So sign up now if you haven't already. There's QR codes around the room which will take you directly to the Slack. And there was also the link in the email you would have got for attending. And there is Wi-Fi here as well. You can sign up to the Wi-Fi, and the link for that and the password is on the same page as the Slack code. So get online, hook yourself up. For those people attending in person, our fire escape is this door here where you came in, and we're going to go down these stairs, and then this car park is our emergency evacuation point. So I am positive that a warden will come and get us and follow their instructions. Toilets are down the hallway past the lifts where you would have come in. And there's a gender neutral and shared disabled bathroom there as well if you want it. There's also a quiet room where you can take a break and do some colouring in or a puzzle. That's further down this hall, and it's got a sign on there. So that's ours for the whole 3 days. There's a door to outside if you need some quiet time. You will find me in that room sometimes. So please take advantage of the quiet room, take a break whenever you need to. And we just ask that you respect the fact that it is a quiet room. Please just don't start conversations with people who are in there. Just come in, sit down and start doing whatever it is you want to do. Cold filtered water is available at the room behind this screen. So if you just kind of keep walking here on either side, there's a big room behind here where all the magic happens. And there's a sink with a zip tap with cold filtered water. So please feel free to fill up your own water bottle anytime you want. We're providing morning and afternoon tea. You would have seen it all laid out for you. So we've got tea, coffee, hot chocolate, herbal tea, and a variety of snacks catering to dietary preferences and needs as well. And we're going to provide some snacks for the games night tonight as well. All the ingredients lists we've got, so if you're, they should be on the packets, but if you're feeling concerned about whether you can eat it or not, come and find one of us and we can help you out. So that's kind of the end of the real administration stuff. So a bit of an introduction to the conference side of things. So as we all know, queer theory is interdisciplinary, and this conference is no different. We're excited to have presentations spanning the disciplines of critical Indigenous studies, game studies, psychology, gender studies, politics, and creative writing. We're all here, people. We need some more people from the hard sciences. Come on, natural scientists, where are you? Queer theory also embraces different ways of communicating research, and our presentations include panels, performance pieces, and workshops, as well as traditional lectures. Indeed, one of the highlights of this year's conference is the zine making workshop tomorrow afternoon, hosted by our very own Kate Manlick. Excitingly, the zine will be published by Francis Street Press and can be cited on your CV as creative research output. So come along for some queer craftivism and maybe boost your CV at the same time. This is our biggest conference yet. We're so excited. We've got 28 speakers and it was 30 when I wrote this, and last night it was 36. So who knows how many people have signed up already. Again, more people. We've got people from across Australia and overseas. People are joining us from all over Australia, Aotearoa, New Zealand, England, Germany, Spain, Taiwan, and the USA, and possibly more. One of our goals with this conference is to help early career researchers like ourselves make connections and network. So get in the Slack and chat to each other, share ideas, and maybe make some friends. To help us get to know each other, there's a games night tonight and the conference dinner on Thursday night. And we encourage you to get in the Slack and talk to people online as well. This year, we're proudly supported by both Macquarie University and Pride Foundation Australia. This is our first year of external funding, and we're really excited about that. This funding has allowed us to provide you with things like the morning and afternoon tea, the zine workshop on Thursday afternoon, and a special treat this year, a tote bag. Everyone loves a tote, right? Which is yours to take home. If you're joining us online, all the contents of the tote bag, minus the snacks, sorry, are provided on the channels in the Slack, so have a look around in there. Arguably, the most important thing our funding has allowed to do this year is bring us our fantastic keynote speaker, Farhad Ali. Farhad is a Palestinian exile from the village of Araba in the occupied West Bank, who now lives and works on the unceded and sovereign lands of the Darug people. He's a molecular and computational geneticist, we found the hard science people, and science educator at the University of Sydney. He's the founder of campaign groups Labour Friends of Palestine and Muslims for Marriage Equality, and a former board member with the Australian Palestine Advocacy Network, and a co-organiser of the Sydney Festival Boycott Campaign. Our theme this year, Queer Rage, has been inspired in a large part by the rage the organisers feel and felt and still feel at the ongoing occupation and genocide of Palestine. However, as white settlers on unceded land, we're keenly aware that rage is a privilege only some people have access to. Indeed, Palestinian people around the world are routinely punished for daring to express their rage. So we asked Farhad to join us to talk about how queer rage might intersect with anti-colonial activism and to help us understand how we can mobilise the unique power of our collective queer rage to bring about permanent change. He graciously agreed to join us here today to deliver his keynote, which is entitled Beyond Pinkwashing, a Desegregationist Vision of Queer Solidarity. Unfortunately, Farhad has come down with a nasty cold this morning and he can't talk, so he's unable to give his keynote in person or online, but he has offered that he's going to record it. So it will be available on our YouTube channel after the conference, along with all the other presentations. So as a poor substitute for Farhad, I am going to read his abstract. And I'm also going to just talk a little bit about the Action for Palestine. We've put together a flyer with some actions for Palestine, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then we thought that we might give you some time to actually do some of those actions. I realise right now that I haven't brought his abstract with me, so Emma, could you please get me a program so I can read his abstract? Thank you so much. Don't mind us while we improvise. Emma's getting their exercise today. Thank you so much. So Fahad writes, queer power, long stifled by assimilationist politics, must be reignited and redirected in solidarity towards the urgent struggle for Palestinian liberation. Drawing parallels between the HIV/AIDS crisis and the Palestinian struggle, we explore how queer experiences of loss, anger, and government intransigence can inform and energise Palestinian solidarity efforts. Central to this discussion is a critique of Western queer movements' complicity in settler colonialism and their often limited scope of solidarity. We argue that queer rage must disrupt the liberal centre of the queer community, challenging complacency and advocating for a more radical vision of queer life. By examining the activism of groups like ACT UP New York, we highlight how radical queer spaces have fostered genuine shared struggles with anti-colonial movements. The talk proposes moving beyond the paradigms of pinkwashing and pink watching, which have dominated queer Palestinian activism in recent years. We consider how pink watching reinforces rather than undermines the segregationist logic of the occupation. This approach necessitates a critical examination of the relationship between Western queer movements and queer communities in Palestine and the Global South. This address seeks to ignite a renewed sense of radical purpose within queer communities, calling for the channeling of queer rage not only towards queer issues, but also towards broader struggles against colonialism, apartheid, and global injustice. Ultimately, we advocate for a queer politics that actively amplifies and supports the Palestinian solidarity movement as part of a broader internationalist vision. Sounds good to me, and I can't wait to hear Fahad talk more about it. But in the meantime, we can act in solidarity. So in your totes, there's an Action for Palestine flyer. And we at QTRG encourage and support activism against the ongoing occupation of Palestine. And so we compiled this list of networks that you can explore to find information, join campaigns, and take action that suits you. And I want to note that that action might be finding out more. You might be at the stage where you think, I don't know enough about this. I'm going to go and find out some information. And these websites are a place you can do that as well. So there's APAN, the Australian Palestine Action Network, who Fahad is involved with. And they have an amazing website. It's constantly being updated. You can find lists of actions that you can take in 2 minutes, if that's all you've got, 5 minutes, 2 weeks, whatever you have. Importantly, they've got online forms where you can contact your superannuation to encourage them to divest from Israeli investments. Because lots of people, particularly lots of young people, think, well, I don't have any investments, but if you have even $1 of superannuation, you do have an investment. So make sure that your money is being invested in a place that you feel like aligns with your values. And you can also contact your member of federal parliament and encourage them to stop supporting Israel politically and financially through all sorts of things, including arms deals. The APAN website is also where you might find information on activism events that are happening in your local area. They've got, their website is broken down by region, so you can go there and have a look for specifically things that are relevant to your area as well. BDS, the Boycott, Divestment and Sanction Movement, is actually quite old. It was launched in 2005. In response by Palestinian unions. And it's been inspired by the South African anti-apartheid movement, which had great success with economic sanctions that were organically grown. And it urges non-violent pressure on Israel until it complies with international law. There's 3 pillars to the movement: academic, cultural, and economic. So yeah, have a read. You might be familiar with the economic side of the boycott, divest and sanction movement. There's been some graphics that have gone around about, including one that's in your tote, about some companies that you might like to not support. But there's also the academic and cultural boycotts, which I want to talk a little bit more about, because the academic boycott is particularly relevant to us in the academic sector. It's been in place since 2004, and the Palestinian Campaign for the Academic and Cultural Boycott of Israel calls for a boycott of all Israeli academic institutions. In line with academic freedom, the boycott is applied to Israeli institutions and not individuals. Pardon me. The boycott recognises that Israeli universities play a key role in implementing and justifying Israel's occupation and apartheid policies and are accomplices in Israel's regime of occupation, settler colonialism and apartheid. So you can find out more about the academic boycott, including how you can support individual and collective Palestinian scholars at the academic boycott website on the BDS website. So yeah, I quite like drawing people's attention to the multifaceted nature of boycott. It's not just about not buying things. And I do know that some of us don't have a choice about what brands we buy as well. Some things are, only, accessibility exists, and we might not have a choice about what brands we buy. So there's a variety of different ways to get involved with the idea of boycott, divestment and sanctions. And the last thing on our list, which is by no means an exhaustive list, these are just the ones that came to our mind first and foremost, is Unionists for Palestine. So once again, the Palestinian General Federation of Trade Unions have given an urgent call to action. And so Unionists for Palestine is a group of rank and file trade unionists from around Australia and across all unions who are joining together to campaign for a free Palestine. The website is on the flyer. Many unions have formed their own group in solidarity, including the NTEU, which is our academic, the most relevant union for us. And so you can find their information is on the page as well. So we encourage you to have a look. And as I said, even if the point that you're at is just finding out more information, that's okay. These websites are great places for you to find out more information, and they have links to, you can follow the link from those websites as well. So what we're going to do now is actually give you some time to do that activity in the absence of Fahad's keynote right here in person. We're going to try and embody the resistance to the pink washing and the pink watching. And so you've got some links here. The links are in the Slack. We've also set up an action station, which is in the back corner. So there's a computer set up there with all of the links to these websites up. It's just a blank login, so you can just sit and use that if you don't want to use your device for some reason. And there's copies of the flyers there. If you think that other people might like copies of these flyers, you can take them. So yeah, we're just going to give you 15, 20 minutes to kind of sit and do whatever these actions are, if you choose to do any of them. If not, you can help yourself to a morning tea. And then we're going to reconvene at about 11:15, and we're going to have a different thing to do that will take us through to 12 o'clock for our next presentation. Thank you all.